everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. Want to thank all those of you for tuning in on this fine Tuesday afternoon. It was quite the weekend, a historic weekend at that, and we've got the perfect lineup for you to discuss such an occasion. And I think it goes without saying that it's that time of year where obviously NHL, that season is coming to a head. NBA, that season is coming to a head. Baseball, that season is getting into where the games start to matter. And then the NFL is really the only one that's not participating actively in the headlines because the draft is over. And so now it's rumor mill, right? It's time for that thing to start a churning. And so thankfully, we here at the Fan Show enjoy football in other flavors, such as the National Arena League and the Indoor Football League. But it was a great weekend. I went to the Defy Wrestling event. We had Matt Farmer on of Defy Wrestling on Thursday's episode to help give that a nice little promo there and discuss what we could look forward to. It was a fantastic event. Production, I wish, would have been a little bit more, but apparently there was some issues with the contract and what supplies the venue said that it would supply. And made an introduction between them and Mr. Ryan Levy of Monumental Bookings. So, man, the possibilities. If you put together Monumental, Defy, and the Fan Show, you could have yourself one hell of an event. Just going to throw that out there. Speaking of events, Saturday, if you're in the Spokane area, there is going to be a little bit of car wash. That's right. Car wash. There's going to be a car wash for the Spokane Wolfpack that the Fan Show, is putting on for the boys because they have some costs that need to be covered before kickoff next weekend. The 19th is the first game for the Spokane Wolfpack. If you're in the Spokane area, 315 North Argonne is the place to go to get your car washed. And there is no set minimum, simply donations. We do suggest a $5 donation at least, but you're welcome to pay more. If you can only pay less, that's fine. We'll also have helmets, buckets, and bottles going around to donate change. And we're going to try to set up something online so that if you can't make the wash, you can at least still donate. Do your part to help cover some equipment or travel costs for these fine young men that are athletes of the Spokane area. So that'll be this Saturday from 10 to 5. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go and have a talk with the boys on Thursday at their practice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that needed to get brought up today. Oh yeah, it's part 1 of Battlebots week, and that means that Battlebots premieres this Friday on the Discovery Channel. I will have the time for you as it pertains to your time zone, but Farouk will be my guest Thursday. We've got John Remar, one of the head referees, or the head referee, tomorrow night on the show. Tonight we'll just do a little bit of a teaser, of a preview, because they've already announced one of the matchups for the season premiere on Friday, but that's on the Discovery Channel. That's going to be awesome. Speaking of awesome, let's, without further ado or any more delay, let's hit it running with today's headlines. And don't forget that the headlines are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. It is your one-stop shop for anything customized, from custom apparel, screen printing, embroidery, stickers, banners, trophies, and pretty much any item that you can imagine that if you can think it, they can do it. Put your logo on it, put your artwork on it, whatever you need, they've got you covered. They even did some of the shirts for the guys of the A team at the Defy Wrestling event, and those looked pretty good. I've got a batch of shirts for myself, picked up the first batch Friday. They look and they smell fantastic. New merch smell, right? It's like new car smell, but better. And I'm excited to send those out to some very important members of Fan Nation, some VIMs, if you will. But Dynamite Enterprises has got you covered, okay? Pens, coasters, even foam fingers. Dynamite Enterprises will customize your world. So visit them, hit them up, dynamiteenterprises.com, ask for Ethan, tell them that the Fan Show sent you, and they are going to get you all hooked up. So that is the portion of the headlines that's the important part, right? Whose headlines brought to you by this week? Well, there you have it. So in the National Arena League, not really any surprises except for what was a fantastic finish in Massachusetts. The Pirates over the Lions. Lions were the only undefeated team left. They had only played 2 games. This was their third of the season, where every other team has pretty much played double that amount. So Massachusetts takes down the Columbus Lions. They were in last year's championship game against the Sharks. And this one, it was the result of a defensive play and then a nice offensive drive to polish it off. 44-37, your final in Boston. Oh, it was so great. It really was. It was great to watch just because the good people of Boston, I really felt like it was a much-needed victory. And the amount of crap I caught because the Lions weren't ranked number 1 in my power rankings despite they were undefeated, and it's like, really? So I haven't heard crap from them lately, and that's what I love about power rankings. I really do, because I think that it stirs the pot just enough. That's right, just enough. Jacksonville Sharks took down the Maine Mammoths to get back into the win column. They had gone 3 weeks in a row without seeing the win column, so they're back in there now. Their record is 2-3. And the Carolina Cobras will need to have some small supply of lubricant if they should have any more matchups against the Steelhawks. 65-3 was your final. Oh, wow. Just, whew, not even a little bit of spit there. That was, I didn't watch it, but I mean, what do you need to watch? The first quarter? It was a bloodbath. And hopefully the Steelhawks, they have room to improve, obviously. We hope that they get better. In the 6-team league, you want as much competition as you can muster. But the Cobras, man, it's like they took that week 1 loss to Jacksonville and said, screw this. And they have rattled off 4 in a row, including one over the Pirates, who just took down the only other undefeated team, the Columbus Lions. So their only loss they made up for by defeating that team before the Steelhawks, which was the Jacksonville Sharks. So really, I mean, the Cobras are the team to beat right now. I would love to see a Carolina-Massachusetts championship for the NAL. I really would. I think that would be fan-friggin-tastic. But will it happen? We will see. This is very early in that season. However, we are at the midway point of the IFL season. It's week 5 in the NAL. It's like week 11 in the IFL, the Indoor Football League. We had some great matchups over the weekend. Of course, the anticipated rematch after that shootout where the defenses didn't even bother to show up between the Arizona Rattlers and the Cedar Rapids Titans. This one would take place in Cedar Rapids, but this was pretty much same story, different chapter. We had a, I mean, what else do you say about this Rattlers team? It's just like they know how to win. The Hall of Fame class has been announced. There were 10 finalists, and they have narrowed it down to their finalists, and so we will go over that, of course. But Arizona, the Rattlers, I mean, my goodness, it was just, oof. I don't know how you beat these guys. I don't. Apparently, only Iowa is the one that knows how to beat these guys. And we're going to talk about Iowa Barnstormer football with none other than the head coach of the Barnstormers, Dixie Wooten himself. He'll be joining me shortly on the program, and it should be a lot of fun to catch up with him. It's always fun to talk to Woot in a good mood. I will say that because, it could be a lot worse. It really could be. But fortunately, it is Not those circumstances where it's just like, man, why you want to talk to me? I love you, coach. You're the best. One of the best. 57-42 was your final in Cedar Rapids. Then Green Bay. Like we said, we were making history all weekend, right? There was one undefeated team left in the NAL. There are no longer any undefeated teams left. And on the flip side, in the Indoor Football League, there are now no longer any winless teams. The Green Bay Blizzard on Star Wars night, the night I was supposed to be there. Come on, guys, of course. Use the force. 47-25 over the Nebraska Danger. Haven't had a chance to watch this one yet, but they got a lead and they stuck to it, man. It was all gas, no break. Their offense really did their job. Their defense did a hell of a job as well. So congratulations to the Green Bay Blizzard. Tried to get BJ Hill on the program, but they all have practice during the show all the nights this week. What? What is that about? I got to have a talk with Coach Robertson about that because I'm not happy about that. But the story of the weekend, not involving LeBron James, is the story out of Sioux Falls, because like the Undertaker's streak that ended, this was pretty much right up there with it. I mean, we remember the shock. The Undertaker's streak ended at the hands of Brock Lesnar. Spoiler alert, sorry, if you don't already know that, then what are you doing with your life? So Sioux Falls is the setting of some great history, and it is incredible because you wouldn't have thought, if you looked at this and picked this as the one to be the one, in 1-10, Iowa Barnstormers had lost 10 straight to the Sioux Falls Storm, combined home and away. And with a final score of 49-42, the Iowa Barnstormers have finally ended the streak. They have gotten the one in the win column that they have been so desperately chasing. And I'm going to ask Coach Dixie Wooten straight up one very, very important question when he is on the program here in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to him, let's take a quick recap at the world of hockey, which those Golden Knights, those fantastic, those fabulous, those sexy Golden Knights continue their winning ways in the beautiful city of Vegas, and they will face the winner of the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. I'm thinking it's going to be Winnipeg. But, man, 4-2 was that series after they got... It was a great series. That might be one of the better series of this playoff run. Capitals over the Penguins. So the Penguins will not go back-to-back this year. The Capitals, for the first time in 20 years, advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. 4-2 was that series over the Penguins. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning let the Bruins have one in their series. They will face the Capitals. So now we've got 3 out of 4. We're waiting to see what happens between Winnipeg and Nashville. That should be a fantastic matchup, winner take all, and then we've got our final 4. But man, how cool is Vegas? How awesome is this story? I'm super excited about it. LeBron James did basketball things over the weekend. I don't care. I'm so glad I'm not a basketball fan. If you wanted me to talk about LeBron James, let me just reiterate to you what I feel is something that I've believed in for a long time. Farouk himself, Faroukadelphia on Twitter, said it in better ways than I've tried to, apparently, which is, I think we should change it from the GOAT to the GOT, the greatest of their time, GOTT. There are far too many factors in comparing eras. Technology, medicine, equipment, and overall game evolution, to name a few. LeBron, Jordan, NBA, GOAT, GOT, basketball. Sports are his hashtags, but man, I cannot agree with him more, because I even said to local ESPN, 700 ESPN, I said, I love a good debate. I love conversation, I really do, but this gets out of hand. This gets people straight up offended. Now, I don't know who's saying LeBron isn't great, because he obviously is, but I don't think that you can say that he's the greatest. I don't think you can even say Jordan or Wilt Chamberlain or Larry Bird or any of those guys are the greatest of all time, because the times are different. Joe Montana, I think, had a harder time playing quarterback than Tom Brady, which is why I don't think Tom Brady can be considered the greatest. But Brett Favre was one of the greatest for different reasons. Johnny Unitas, so on and so forth. So it's just, let them be the greatest of their generation, their time, like Farouk said. And that's going to do it for headlines. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Coach Dixie Wooten of the Iowa Barnstormers. We'll be back with more of The Fan Show after this.
You're listening to The Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's The Fan Show.
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazzisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me, one of my favorite guests, the man who puts the Wooten woot woot. It is Coach Dixie Wooten. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Just happy to be a Barnstormer.
I'll say it was quite the history-making weekend for you guys, just because it's something that, you know, we knew needed to happen in order for your franchise, your organization, your era with the Barnstormers to feel like they belonged in conversations with, you know, championship caliber. And you've had this championship mindset that you've instilled with your team all season long, and I think it's been great. But, you know, everybody's been talking about Arizona, Sioux Falls. Well, hell, your Arizona's only loss of the season, and Sioux Falls has lost to Arizona twice, and now you tie up the series with Sioux Falls. Like, when you went into Sioux Falls over the weekend, like, what was your mentality going into there? Because it's on the road, you're not at home, and you know that, you know, the series is very one-sided. Like, what thought process is that like?
You know, I feel like, you know, it started that Monday, man. We came in and we watched the game film of when we lost to them, you know, the first time, and we felt like, you know, we let a game get away from us. You know, we made a lot of mistakes in the secondary, and we made a lot of mistakes on offense, man. And, you know, we had a chance to get the onside kick and go on the game-winning drive, but we jumped outside on another mistake. So, you know, after we watched that film, we felt like we had a great chance of, you know, winning that game. So we came in with a game plan, and we didn't switch up a lot from that game. We just did some better things. So, you know, I felt like we had a chance to win in Sioux Falls. And when we came out, you know, we knew everything they was going to try to do to us. And, you know, we made the adjustment when we had to, man, and stuck the course and pulled it out.
So when you watch a game film like that and you're coming up with a game plan, is it pretty much because it's a loss that you just have to say, okay, so what we did, even the stuff that worked, we got to do the opposite or we got to do better this time? Or is it something where because of how close you were in that game, you think, okay, so if we tweak this, we're good? Like, how does that game plan work going on the road?
Yeah, like I said, the first game we played them in Des Moines, you know, I think we did a lot of great things and great ideas, but, you know, we didn't, our team was young at the time, and, you know, we really didn't execute well. But, you know, the calls against certain formations they ran, and, you know, some of the calls, you know, I think I didn't do as a coach, you know, offensively, I did a terrible job of calling plays in the red zone against those guys the first time. So, you know, I had a lot of things I had to reflect on myself to make sure my guys was in the right situation. I think my guys, the first game, played a great game, but as a coach, I didn't do them justice of pulling it through at the end. But, you know, this game, you know, we came in, you know, we had a better, you know, I did a better job play calling. You know, our defense stepped up, and we ended up winning the big game in Sioux Falls.
How much pressure going into this weekend did you put on yourself, and how much credit are you willing to take for this weekend?
Well, I put a lot of pressure on myself, to make sure that my guys, put my guys in a situation to be successful. I take none of the credit because, my coaching staff is amazing. And these guys come in, that's not making a lot of money, understand that they got to listen to a coach that fuss a lot. And also, that put a lot of information in their head. So they bought into what we try to give them. The coaching staff did a great job. So, I'm just feel like I'm just, riding the coattail of my coaching staff and my players.
All right, fair enough. I'll let you be a coach for a little bit here. So one thing that I was curious about was you had Drew Powell back, which is obviously a great thing to have. But, they say that if you've got two quarterbacks, you don't really have two quarterbacks. You've got no quarterbacks. But you guys clearly have two quarterbacks. Was there any tough decisions to be made, especially going on the road against a tough team like the Storm?
No, because the thing about it is, with the way Drew was playing when he left, I knew when he came back that I was going to, whenever he came back, if he came back, we didn't want him to come back, but when he came back, he was going to be back to starter. Grant did a great job, but and that's the thing, it's great in our position. It's great to have both of them. The thing about the saying, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none, that's teams that try to play two quarterbacks in one game. My quarterbacks know that whoever starts, that you basically gonna play the whole game. If you make mistakes, you're gonna have to stay in. You gotta fight the weather and come through and build back off your mistakes. I'm an ex-quarterback, so I'm not big on pulling quarterbacks. So of course, when Drew came back, that Monday we had a quarterback meeting, and I told both of the guys Drew would be the starter. So it's not like we went through practice and I named him the starter at the end of the week. So these guys knew what was going on, man, and Drew had a great practice, and Grant had a great practice as well, because if anything would have happened to Drew, he would have been ready.
Yeah, and he's being modest, folks. For those of you that don't know Dixie Wooten like I do, he takes a big, tall cup of modesty every morning, because he's not just a former quarterback. He is a former Hall of Fame finalist quarterback. How'd you feel about getting that news?
Oh man, it's amazing, man. I love everything about the indoor football league, man. And the thing about it, when you become a finalist, man, in front of it's a lot of people play this game, so that's huge in this stuff. And I think the class that got nominated this year is unreal, man. You have Sewell at the quarterback. You have Pig Brown at the defensive back, and you have Charlie Sanders at center, man. I think if you put them on any team right now, you have a chance to win the championship. So, it was an honor to be a part of those guys, man. But they did a great thing by nominating those three guys for Hall of Fame this year. They deserved it.
Now, you got the Iowa Bowl Part 2 coming up against Cedar Rapids, who's a team that right now holds the longest losing streak because Green Bay finally got into the win column. So they're a hungry team. They played tough against Arizona both weeks, which you know how tough Arizona can be. But I don't know if there's a team that has a tougher remainder of the schedule than you guys, because the whole part of the first week of June is probably going to determine how this postseason gets seeded as far as who hosts and who is on the road, because you play Arizona, Sioux Falls back-to-back. So looking back at this weekend, it was great for you guys as a franchise, really great for you guys as a team. But in your mind right now, is it anything more than just another win?
Yeah, it was a big win for us because, we never, in this organization, we never beat those guys before. And the thing about it is they at home, they are unreal. If you look at their record, in the last 5 years at home, it's amazing, man. It's basically what people want to be. So to beat them at home, on their home field, it does a lot for our mental as a football team. But at the end of the day, we know we got to see them again, and we got to see Arizona twice, and we got to see a tough Cedar Rapids, and now a tough Green Bay. So I feel like you said, we have one of the toughest schedules. So all we can do is take it 1 week at a time and just try to beat Cedar Rapids this week.
How did you come up with the championship mindset that you've been preaching this season?
Last year it was all about building the culture. You know, it was all about, trying to, change an organization that, wasn't winning a lot. And now, we did that. We went 13-3. We went to the playoffs. So, it kind of, we built a culture. Now we got close. So it's a championship mindset right now. Everything is all about making it to the championship. If you look at some things I write, I always put, like an 8-game season. And, people probably don't understand it, but I count the championship game too. So everything we do in Iowa now, in the mornings now, is all about making it to the championship and winning it. So the way we study, the way we practice, everything is preaching championship. So it's a championship mindset to us, and nothing else. Making it to the playoffs is okay, but if we don't win it, it's a failure of a season.
Yeah, you guys have definitely overcome and adapted because you've had, a couple of tough losses here and there, but now, you have righted the wrongs, so to speak, because you have victories over those teams now that you previously lost to. So it's going to be a great finish as far as the regular season, and then, of course, getting into the postseason. And there's plenty of football left to be played as far as that fourth spot because Nebraska fell to Green Bay, which, of course, you can't expect a winless team to stay winless all season long. So good for them to get in the win category. You will face Green Bay later on this season. But I swear, I'm going to tell you right now, that win against Sioux Falls, I know you guys don't like consolation prizes, but that very well could have gotten you the Fan Show Coach of the Year award. And if anybody that asks, Coach Wooten knows that's probably the most important thing, even more than a championship, is being called my Coach of the Year on the show. Here.
Hey, when you get any kind of accolade, man, that's big, man. So when you get things like that, being Coach of the Year, when you get things like that, it just what the organization is about, man. That's we love all the awards, man. But we want to bring that United Bowl Cup. We want to bring that thing to Des Moines.
So the last question I've got for you, and I told everybody at the top of the show when I was talking about the win over Sioux Falls that I was going to ask you straight up, point blank, the one question that I'm dying to know from you, Coach Dixie Wooten, which is a lot of people have sort of not necessarily written you off, but the eyes have been on Sioux Falls and Arizona when you are Arizona's only loss. You've now beat the Storm, and you've gotten one in the win column against them, first one in franchise history. So, is this the year of the Iowa Barnstormers?
Of course, that's it's all about a championship mindset. That's why we use it. We people. Of course, you got to give Arizona and Sioux Falls a respect. Arizona won it last year, and Sioux Falls been winning it, forever. So you have to give them the respect what they do. But at the end of the day, man, we work hard in Des Moines, and anybody we play gonna understand that we there to play. And it's always gonna be a 4-quarter game, and it's always gonna be tough. So we have a mindset of just coming in, and we're gonna play you hard for 4 quarters. Either you gonna stand and fight with us, or we'll beat you up a little bit.
Because I'll give you guys a history lesson right now. For those of you that don't know your football history and you're out there listening right now, these are the moments, these are the things that happen that set up a domino effect long term, because Aaron Rodgers, for the life of him, could not beat Brett Favre straight up when the Packers played the Vikings. The year that they did, finally, the Packers won the Super Bowl. So I just want to let people know out there that it takes that one defining moment early on in the season to set up the rest of it. So you heard it here on the Fan Show from Coach Dixie Wooten. 2018 is the year of the Barnstormers. So, Coach, I will let you get back to it, man. You got a lot of work to do, but always a pleasure having you on the show.
Hey, likewise, man. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man, because you do some great things for the IFL, man. It's a great league, and with guys like you talking about our league all the time, man, it make us special. So thank you, and keep pushing it.
All right, Coach Dixie Wooten, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great night, Coach. Take care of yourself.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will take us to the midway point of our program. And, oh, man, Coach Wooten calling his shot. Babe Ruth in that stuff. Oof. Ooh, chills. very exciting. I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season has in store as far as the race to the finish. It's not just a race to the championship. It's a race just to get to that postseason, and who wants to, be at home, be away. In that week in June, oof, that is a tough one. Iowa's got the 2 toughest games in a week's time, from the 2nd to the 8th. 1 week exactly. I mean, that doesn't get any tougher. They're home for one and they're away for the other. Oof. But he says he's up to the task, and I believe him. I do. I think, like I said, there's Alex Smith and the 49ers. Let's see. Where was I going with this? I don't know where I was going with the thing. Oh, Alex Smith and the 49ers, the year they went deep into the postseason, I think the year they went to the Super Bowl, Alex Smith finally beat Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had made Alex Smith his personal, punching bag, because Alex Smith was taken number 1 overall and Aaron Rodgers was not. And so he punished the 49ers for it. And I said the only way that we were going to get to the championship, to the Super Bowl, is that Alex Smith beats Aaron Rodgers, and he did, and they did. They didn't win the Super Bowl, and the year before that did not advance to the Super Bowl. But it was a turn for Alex Smith. He's done phenomenal ever since, and I think he's a starter wherever he goes. But we'll see what Washington has to say about that. Alex Smith and the Washington Redskins, that chapter begins this season. But that Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers story, man. Brett Favre in the purple and gold of the Vikings. I mean, he humiliated Aaron Rodgers every chance he got, home or away. And then Aaron Rodgers finally beat him. And it was that year after the Vikings went all the way to the NFC Championship, and he put a spank on, and Green Bay goes and wins the Super Bowl. So it's the things like that you don't think about. But those are humps, like those are personal humps you have to get over as a player, as a coach, mentally. So if Iowa wins the United Bowl this year, we're going to look back to this week and be like, that was the week. That was the game that set the course for what we were witnessing if they win. So we'll see. History is trending in that direction as far as if history favors the Iowa Barnstormers. Are you interested in co-working? Are you in the Spokane area and interested in co-working? Well, if so, if you answered yes to both of those, then we have the answer for you. Praxis is Spokane's new co-working space. In this space, they value diversity, inclusion, and a sense of community. At Praxis, they celebrate entrepreneurs, so much so that they give out awards to people like, Best Media, the Fan Show. They collaborate together and help each other create the best work of your lives. Located in downtown Spokane, the 4th floor of the Holly Mason Building, 57 South Howard Street, 9201. The lease is for a space that is 3,500 square feet, and it is equipped with a kitchenette, a conference room, a smaller office, a large open area. There are excellent parking options, a coffee shop in the bottom of the building, Rocket's Bakery, which is very good eats and drinks. And the space is only a 9-minute walk from Riverfront Park Square. $275 a month is what you're looking at, and they are offering month-to-month memberships or discount memberships for longer commitments. Membership to Praxis includes a personal desk, access to all business and recreational amenities, a key, Wi-Fi, and use of the private rooms as they are available. There are no hidden fees, no conference room fees, and no limited amount of minutes you can spend in certain areas. $275 gets you everything that Praxis has to offer. Hit up Robbie at praxiscoworking.com, 509-220-0817. Visit praxiscoworking.com. That is Robbie with I, R-O-B-B-I, praxiscoworking.com. Praxis, be yourself at work. And with that, we are at the just beyond midway point of the show, where we do a quick commercial break here, brought to you by lovely folks at WBZ Sports, where they've got balls and where you can catch replays of the Fan Show the following day, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. We're going to bring on Connor Ferguson, because we've got a lot to talk about. It's cause for celebration here on the Fan Show when we return right after this.
This is The Sheet.
Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Sky hates him.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that can happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten, they win the Big. Could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside your house? Are you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. Listen to the sheet, man. I don't know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ficarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me, Dr. T. Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 2 p.m., 9, 7 p.m. So the mad scientist lab, the big experiments on trouble, and the guest subjects rolling in. Mad scientist with it, only on WBLZ Sports, where we have pulse.
Doug Peffer painting and pressure washing. Over 30 years of painting experience. Interior, commercial, or residential, Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking Doug? We'll call him Doug. Doug Peffer painting and pressure washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer painting and pressure washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus a spotlight of positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLSports.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, but I shouldn't say we, it is just me. Connor maybe got his days and times mixed up. Now, normally, Connor is on tomorrow night for Power Rankings Day, but there was some guests that I had booked for this week that needed specific nights that worked for them. Tomorrow night, John Remar and Philip Kropinski, I'm pretty sure I just butchered that, will be on. Phil, he has a CD release or an album release of his stand-up comedy coming up this weekend, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. John Remar, as I mentioned, is the head Battlebots referee. He was sort of in the thick of it with Mr. Greg Munson and another co-founder, Trey, when the whole Battlebots thing started. So he's played a integral role in Battlebots, which is premiering this Friday on the Discovery Channel, and let's go ahead and get a time for you. So we'll give Connor a chance to phone it in. Looks like we've got about 15 minutes for take, so we've got some time to get Connor on, should he so desire to join us this evening. Otherwise, well, sorry, Connor, we'll have to figure something else out. I tried to get a member of the Green Bay Blizzard, as I mentioned, but you know, they practice now. Said, what the TF? Like, you're killing them. What? You need to not practice during the show, okay? NL, IFL, don't care. Practice during the show. It's just common courtesy. Okay, so Battlebots is the top. One thing I forgot to mention the headlines, because really not headline-worthy, and it's really not even, I don't know why sometimes I continue to talk about things like this, but Backlash happened, WWE Clash, and I think probably the reason why the Defy event got talked about in headlines as a Backlash because the Defy event was better. Like, it was. I got to meet Flip Gordon. He's a great guy, and it was a lot of fun hanging out with him and talking a bit of wrestling. See if he decides to take me up on my invitation to come onto the fan show. What? Recommended for you, Naked and Afraid. Wow, Discovery Channel, you don't know me at all. So that happened over the weekend. The Defy wrestling event. It was a lot of fun. Brian Cage is a man beast. Can I say that now? It was a little ridiculous. That man. Woo, that man. It was insane to see him live and in the flesh, because it's just, wow. You know? He's one of those guys that clearly never eats like a carb, and that never eats a carb, and never misses a workout, especially not leg or upper body day. Dude could crush me with his bare hands. But it was a great time, and I think Defy should definitely do another event in Spokane. Different venue, though. That was the best takeaway from it. It's just the Hub. The Hub Sports Center is a great place. Just a great place. That was, it was lackluster. A club, though. A club music venue, I think, would fit it better. That's because they've already got a stage set. They've already their own PA. Like, they're ready to rock, you know? You could do wrestling even at Spokane Country Club. That might be weird, difficult, because it's got a low ceiling. As I drink my peace tea here. But yeah, so Backlash happened, and it didn't. But Backlash was one of those pay-per-views I really hope was a wake-up call for the folks creative, and especially because you started off the pay-per-view once again with the best match of the night. And it's not like we're talking 3 or 4 pay-per-views in a row, the first match just so happened to be this match. No, that's not the case, because the first match was the Intercontinental title again. Is Seth Rollins in a just, oh man, turn it down, feel though, above. It was utterly fantastic. It's the pay-per-view. Well, not really. If it was middle or at the end, it would have saved the pay-per-view. But chances are, like, if you were to go back and rewatch that match, you'd turn it off because you don't care about the rest of the card. Nia just retained, and that's fine. The promo at the end was a bit odd. And then the rest is really, it just fell flat. Carmella is not a good matchup with Charlotte. She's just not. It's something you can do on Raw with like an Alexa Bliss, but it doesn't work against with Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Like, you have legitimately talented people, and I'm not saying that Carmella's not talented. I'm just saying that it's like she is of the list of talented people on SmackDown. She would be at the bottom because they're all that much more talented than she is. Like, she should be probably middle Raw, maybe even closer to the top. But on SmackDown, man, they got some workers in women's division. But so the WWE title match was the best one so far of the 3 that we've seen between AJ and Shinsuke, with a kick to this. That's great. And it wasn't even the main event. Okay, this is what we've been building for. The main event was 2 guys that shows that will probably not meet again for another year, unless there's some odd circumstance. Survivor Series, right? And the opposing teams. Roman Reigns and Joe, no title on the line. No relevance really to either's story moving forward or currently. And they had a match, and it was just, beat the champs through the arena. You had moments where it just really, like, the fans so sick and tired of Roman Reigns. I don't think that there's anything that you could possibly conceive of that could help Roman stop and fans go up at all. Like, there's been moments, there's been openings for opportunities, and WWE has failed to capitalize on. You could have put the belt on him at Mania. People would have expected it, but they would have appreciated it because you have a full-time title holder who will show up on Raw every week and defend the title at every pay-per-view. Brock Lesnar's not, and people are really sick of that. So they didn't do that either WrestleMania or the Greatest Royal Rumble. WWE still getting backlash, pun intended, for the Greatest Royal Rumble, but we don't need to talk about that right now. So backlash was just this moment where fans felt robbed if they paid to be there. They were getting early to leave because your title match, the WWE title, that match wasn't the main event. You put Roman Reigns in the main event once again, and people just over it. Not good kind of over, like people in WWE talk about. They're just so... and I had one of those moments where I was, this is happening. This is the main event. I just can't. Now, I watched from last night. Well, tonight, though. SmackDown's on right now, so we'll see what happens with that. 17 minutes in. But, man, that was brutal. That was a brutal match. So, on to happier things, though. Things that you can get excited about, because it premieres this Friday on the Discovery Channel. 2 days, 19 hours, 42 minutes, and 35, 34, 33, 31, 30, 29, 20, 27 seconds until Battlebots Season 3. New series coming to Discovery Network May 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that means it is 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then it will also premiere 9 p.m. Eastern on the Science Channel, Pacific. So I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. The season premiere, we get a dream match because, like we talked about, they did Grunts and how they did the season differently this time. They actually had a regular season instead of the tournament being a whole season. They did twice as many episodes, twice as many fights, and from there they picked the best ones and kind of this schedule round robin thing, and that factored into the seeding into tournament. So that happens this Friday. The dream match, the one we've all been wanting to see, Minotaur versus The Reign, defending undisputed big nut champion of the world, Tombstone. And can I say both guys, Ray Billings of Tombstone and Marco of Minotaur, aka Rebots, fantastic to talk. I did interviews with both of them. I was on camp for you guys to see that. I'm ready to release my content onto, but it might not be for a couple weeks. Zach Burchek, though, of F.A.N, he's done wonders with those. I actually posted a screenshot of what he was on. I was like, I love it. Going to have some graphics on there. It's going to be polished real nice. You're going to get to meet because I'm setting up interviews right now with all the different, team members, and we're going to have them on doing weekly segments after the season premiere. Farouk will be on this Thursday to get us ready for what time. So it is a great time to be a nerd, to be a fan of Battlebots. And if you're not a fan of Battlebots, you need to get on that bandwagon because it's filling up big. Let me just tell you, if you have kids and you're looking for a great, not just a great alternative to something like UFC, WWE, or really any other kind of competitive where there's a lot of full contact, right? And you may be thinking that it's too violent for them at their age. Have them watch the premiere this Friday. They will fall in love with BattleBots, and they could change the course of their life. They want to be an engineer. They could want to get into robot build, whatever. That's what I encourage you guys to do. Have little ones. If you've never watched BattleBots before, pull up, free up a few spots on the couch. Get comfy, get ready, because it's robot fighting time. Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. It is. I can't say enough about it, and I can't say more than I already have because I am just that excited about it. So we've got about 5 minutes left here on this episode of the Fan Show. There's no birthday today. I was looking. Bill Back had a birthday Thursday, but it's not Facebook, so I didn't know until it's too late. And I called and I messaged him. I was just like, your birthday day, Mo, or when? And he's like, it's today. And I was like, I would have called you. He's like, oh, sorry. So I guess we could see about calling Connor Ferguson again. I don't know. He's unavailable. He's unavailable. He told me last night he could, but he's college kid. He's got a lot on his plate. Speaking of college, I'm in my second course right now at Full Sail. It is business in the entertainment industry. So I'm very excited about it. It's proven to be just as difficult as any type of business course. And I'm ready to learn. I've got yearning for learning. And let's see, is there anything else that we need to catch up on today, Fan Nation? Is there anything? Oh, don't forget, you can visit teespring.com/thefanshow if you'd like to order some merchandise. Helps fund the Fan Show tour, which resume next month. Okay, Green Bay, and then we've got Boston, Jacksonville, and then we've got the IFL United Bowl, of course, and then maybe even the National Arena League Championship. I don't know. I got a message last night from a member of the Rattler Nation from Snake Pit. He's just like, I want you here May 20th when we take on Iowa. And I was just like, who's we? He's like, all of us. Like, we want Fan Show here for that game. And I'm just like, I'm flattered, honored. If you guys want to somehow muster up the funds to fly me down there, by all means, because I'd love to be there. But it's with this close to that date, I couldn't possibly pull it off. I couldn't. Like, I know what it takes to do stops on these tours, especially ones. It's not pretty. It is tough. So we're playing the game of catch-up right now in the household, which has been good. I'm, again, very happy for Green Bay that they won. I know it was the game I was supposed to be there, and Ryan Hobson, my man, if you're listening, I'm sorry that I couldn't be there because I know how much effort you put into this. But the important thing is that you won. It was a great time for the fans. Those jerseys are fire, by the way. Those things are straight up, like, you need to wear them every game now, like, because they are just fantastic. I want one. I want one that says the Fan Show on the back. But congrats to Green Bay getting in the win column. Can't wait for power rankings tomorrow, though. I don't think anything's changed at all in the realm of the National Arena League. I think those rankings will probably stay for the second week in a row, exactly the same as the week before. Or I guess that would technically be the third week in a row because they changed the 1 week, and then last week there was no change, so this week there would be no change. So it would be the second week in a row of no change, but the third week in a row of them being what they are. We'll mull it over, but there's not really a whole lot of room to a reason to move anybody around. In the Indoor Football League Power Rankings, though, however, I will pose this question to you, Fan Nation. Do the Iowa Barnstormers deserve to be ranked number one for this week? Because they did what they have never done in their franchise history, which was defeat Sioux Falls Storm. They are Arizona's only loss this season. They have now tied the series between themselves and Sioux Falls, and they've tied the series between themselves and the Nebraska Danger. So in the standings, they're second. But chew on this for a moment, if you will. So not only are the Arizona only loss, but that win, that victory, that epic win-ness that they did over the Sioux Falls Storm happened in Sioux Falls. A road victory for franchise history. Does that propel them to the number one spot for at least? Could be more than, but they deserve number one. That's the question I want to ask you, all of you out there in Fan Nation. So don't forget, follow the Fan Show on all of its social media platforms. You've got Twitter, @FanShowOfficial. You've got Instagram, The Fan Show. Snapchat, The Fan Show. Facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. If you're in the Spokane area this weekend, please come out to the car wash. Support Spokane Wolfpack. It's going to be a great season. Very excited. That kickoff is the 19th at Joe Albee Stadium. And don't forget to check out Praxis, Dynamite Enterprises, Undisputed Belts, because those dudes are awesome. In case you didn't know, they can do all your custom belt making needs. And then, of course, subscribe to the podcast form of the show if you can't listen live. And that's available on iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. And, of course, if you can listen live, thank you. It's been awesome. Feel free to join the chat anytime on Spreaker.com/user/TheFanShow. And then, of course, you can listen live at TheFanShow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners! And remember, of course, it's all games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into some players' bus? That was V Sports.
Thanks for having me on the show, man. I love the fan show.